Welcome into Patriot Sports, part of the Six Pack Coverage Network. Will Dundon, Seth Coggin, Nick Truschel in here, full house to talk one of the biggest weekends in college football, if not the biggest, really, when you break it down, just the amount of great games that are on. I mean, we're going to kick it off. Obviously, the two playoff games happened this past week. Big upset, I guess you would say. I mean, most people would say in TCU and Michigan, and then Ohio State hanging with Georgia. I mean, not quite dominating, but handling Georgia for most of the game. And then Georgia obviously comes out, finishes them off, and is going back to another national championship. But let's kick it off with that TCU Michigan game. That was one that, so I flip it on. First play from scrimmage, Michigan busts a big run, goes down the field, and then we all saw it. I mean, basically, you tout this physicality, the most physical team in football, and then you start getting cute down around the goal line and come away with no points. And that was not the story of the game, but I think the story of the game too had to be TCU's physicality and showing how they could match up with them with a lot less talent, obviously, and being that gritty team and coming away with a huge win.
Yeah, I think it's really kind of summed up in you threw 2 pick sixes. You're gonna lose. That's two game swinging plays that you had negative for you. That you lost by a few points. Well, you can't singularly point to plays in football. Like, those plays happened long in the game. There was plenty of time to come back. They even could have, potentially won there towards the end. They made it a real tight game, and they kept coming back, which was impressive. But you threw 2 pick sixes. That's like almost impossible to overcome, and they almost did it. But TCU's they're not in the playoff by mistake. You threw 2 pick sixes to a good team, and they're going to beat you almost every single time. Like, every single playoff team that ever makes the playoff is going to beat you if you do that. And then you don't score twice the goal line. So those are crazy swings it's just so hard to overcome when your margins are so small.
Well, and everyone was complaining about the one bomb that the guy was called down at like the 1-inch line, which when I looked at it, I don't know if the argument was he didn't have control of the ball yet until he was in the end zone, but it looked like from the angles I saw, he was technically down at that short yard line. Whether he was down or not, I mean, you have a chance to just punch it in. And you screw up, you fumble, you can't even get the handoff. So I couldn't really get behind so many people being like, oh, Michigan got hosed on that. Like, that's not the worst thing to happen, like get called on the 1-inch line versus in the end zone. I know saying that, like, it's a huge, if it's called a touchdown, it's a totally different game, obviously. But you have a chance to just go 1 inch first and goal and you can't get it. I have a problem with people just trying to defend that.
They had an ample opportunity to score. I don't think you can make up any excuses when you're given the opportunities needed to pull off what happens. If it was on 4th down and you got screwed over big time and didn't have another opportunity to make a difference, that's a different story. But when there's a routine play to get into the end zone, you just can't pull it off. You can't blame that on anything else other than not executing.
And you mentioned opportunity there. That's what I want to take a moment to talk about here was I was disappointed in the many, many opportunities that the Michigan defense had to stop TCU. Like, when their offense started kind of coming back and it was like, okay, we're 2 scores down, but we got to score. They had several opportunities to make a stop and get that keep that momentum on their side. But it seems like every time TCU was able to just kind of pull even farther ahead. Like, there was 3 or 4 times in a row where it's like, okay, we're 2 scores down, we got to score. We need a stop and get another score to really tie this thing up. And it'd be like, nope, just going to push it, farther out. So I was, not disappointed. I didn't really have a serious dog in the fight, but I was a little surprised, I guess, to see Michigan's defense just get 8 time and time again. And when they really needed big stops, like, not just, moving up and down the field because you're 2 or 3 scores ahead, playing soft defense. It's like, man, we really need to stop. And they're just gashing us for big play after big play. I couldn't even turn around and, especially that second quarter, I was kind of just, messing around at the house, getting ready for New Year's Eve. And every time I looked away, someone would score a touchdown. Like, it was just bad. It was just crazy action there for a while. And entertaining game. Like,
very
refreshing to just have a game full of juice for a long time that it was like, and TCU got out to the early lead, and so automatically you get kind of, when the underdog gets into like a 2-touchdown league, like early in the game, it automatically snaps like everyone's eyes into like attention. It's like, oh shoot, whoa, Michigan down 14 early, like
Yeah, they're in trouble.
Something's up. Like this is a playoff game. Like this is legit here. So really set the tone for an even probably, I don't know about probably better game in that second game. At least, it kind of ends more dramatically. But really just a fun to see TCU come away with it after they were kind of belittled, I felt like. But not like TCU was belittled, I guess, a little bit. But at the same time, they did just lose their championship game and still get in. So, like, it's not like they got the utmost disrespect ever. Like, they still did get in.
Yeah, they got plenty of respect, I'd say.
Yeah. So that's why playing that card's a little bit lame. But mighty Michigan couldn't do it. This was their best chance to probably win a natty.
Yeah.
Like, truly their best chance to win a national championship. And choked it away, blew it.
Well, and
Harbaugh could be gone.
The rumors are already flying about Harbaugh to the Broncos.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
Like, he said he's gone if he gets an NFL job.
That's what was reported. Saying. Yeah. I mean,
but was he gone last year? Like, what happened? Like, he
didn't get the offer last
single
year.
Yeah, if he got the offer last year, he said he would have taken it.
Yeah, he is gone. Like, you don't float these rumors all the time and then stay for like 10 years. Like, you eventually are leaving.
That would,
you're not going.
What would Michigan? I'm just curious now. Like, who would they turn to if that's the case?
Probably someone pretty good. I mean,
yeah,
like they've just gone to 2 straight playoffs. Harbaugh has put Michigan in a much better place. That would be kind of a good way to judge his tenure at Michigan. Is like, well, I was there for a lot of years. I went to the playoff a couple times. I won the Big Ten a couple times.
Beat Ohio State.
And I left Michigan in a lot better place for the next guy to come in than me. I don't think Harbaugh relates to like 18-year-olds. That's actually what that's true. And I think as he gets older, like the farther and farther away, like I think at first he kind of came in energized to like, he was doing all sorts of stuff to like make himself, I don't know. He was just, when he came to college football, he was causing a scene. Like he was doing all sorts of crazy stuff, recruiting tactics. Like the night he had a sleepover, like he stayed at that kid's house, like just being a goon at camps and stuff, always with his shirt off, like in cleats.
Oh yeah.
I think as he's just gotten older, he's mellowed out a little bit. Probably got humbled a good bit, to be honest. I think he definitely got humbled those first couple of years at Michigan. And there's a lot of pressure on him there at Michigan.
Yeah, people were talking about firing him.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was talking. I mean, crazy. I thought they should have fired him a couple of years ago. But
I agree with that. But after this run, he's gone on.
Well, yeah.
Obviously, but
I'm saying before
after the 8-4 and 9-win seasons every year,
the best he had done was third in the division.
He could not beat anyone. Like, now I am thinking he's a better coach because he's beaten Ohio State the last 2 years, but the 7 years before that, like he didn't. So like, until you do it, you haven't done it. So he had a long run of not being, winning 8 games at Michigan with that schedule is not really the standard you want to set for yourself. But now he's actually proven it. And I think now that he's honestly proven it, he's even more, because he's so stubborn and hard-headed. Like he couldn't leave Michigan without actually succeeding at Michigan. And so now he's at least had some version, some view of success, even though not quite a national championship, but still had a good successful run. I think he's more apt to leave because he's like, well, at least I wasn't a total failure.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I didn't get pushed out. Like, I think he feels the heat of, I could get fired here. And it's kind of like that thing on a breakup. Like eventually we're going to break up. I'm going first. Like I'm leaving. I'm hopping off to somewhere better, back to the NFL. The NFL wants me, yo. The NFL wants me, and you guys don't want me. You don't appreciate.
Well, they want him now.
I know they want him now, but I think at first that's what it was. And now it's just kind of lame because it's like, dude, either go to the NFL or stay here and be happy. Like this in between is stupid.
Yeah, we'll
I hope he
see. I
goes to the
mean,
Colts.
I
goes
guess
to
I
the
would.
Cowboys.
God.
I hope he goes to the Colts and Ryan Tannehill is his quarterback for next year. That's my ultimate vision, sicko vision of like
Sicko vision.
what would be funny in the AFC South next year.
I mean, that would be very funny.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That'd be hilarious for me. Like personally, it'd be about as funny as it would get. Jim Irsay combined with Jim Harbaugh would be just a riot. Oh my gosh.
There'd be some weird, just some content gold coming out of there, I would have to think.
We'd have to have Hard Knocks back in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
But really just like a Jim Knox, just like a Jim Irsay Hard Knocks for just Jim Irsay.
Jim and Jim.
Jim and Jim. Slim Jimmy. Yeah, well, hold that L, Harbaugh. Another one in the big time moment. Still can't quite win the big one.
No. He's getting close though.
He's won some big one. He has won some big games. Like he definitely has started to win. See, but we can.
Well, it's not like they got blown out this year either. Like last year, like you had a real shot at a national championship this year.
Yeah,
and it looks like they could have matched up well with Georgia. I mean, you can't.
Yeah,
I hate playing the game of comparison, but seeing Ohio State really control the game for like 55 minutes or whatever, you know, a team that you crushed.
Yeah,
looks like you could have had a shot there.
Yeah, that is, you are kind of right to preface that with it's so easy to compare because you watch the games back and it's so hard to compare at the same time. Like they're just coming from two totally different games. Like you prepare and all this kind of stuff just way differently. But you watch them like back to back. Like, well, they beat Ohio State. Like they could have beat Georgia. Like right then they probably would have beat Georgia. But that's so hard to say.
Yeah.
But would have been their best chance in 25 years. So, hate to miss that.
Yeah. Well, let's move over to that other game. So when I was watching that Ohio State Georgia game, CJ Stroud for me has moved up to the number one QB in college football.
He looked amazing.
Just the throws he was making, his playmaking ability against that Georgia defense, which I think really, really that defense is the only one in college football that I feel like has a ton of respect.
Well, yeah, they've actually shut down a few people.
Yeah, exactly. Which we just don't see as much anymore in this day and age of college football. But I would also like to point out Georgia back-to-back years takes out a number one receiver that, I mean, has a big impact on what they do going forward. I mean, last year it was not having to play Jamison Williams a second time because he got injured, in the SEC championship game, can't play in the national championship. This year it's Marvin Harrison Jr. having an awesome game throughout the whole time, and they knock him out on a targeting call. He doesn't get to come in. And I think from that point on, that's when it was kind of a Georgia run to end the game.
Sometimes
part of the game.
Works out that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's just part of the game. Injuries happen. You can't, I don't agree with
just fortunately have happened favorably for Georgia lately.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You had all these Bama fans calling Feinbaum last year trying to say Georgia's national championship didn't count because they didn't have their top two receivers, and you're thinking, well,
that's not how. No.
It's not how.
Whoever steps on the field represents your team, buddy. Like that is your team out there. Yeah, Ohio State. Yeah, they were working Georgia. See, it is fun to see CJ Stroud do that against, like you said, a defense that you really have, respect for, have seen week after week, like have been a huge challenge to opposing quarterbacks, like have just been eating them alive and chewing them out. So cool to see him perform that well in that kind of moment. I mean, that does give you a lot of it gives me a lot of comfortability drafting him like in the next level. Like that's what I want to see, dude. Can you imagine watching that CJ Stroud performance and then drafting Will Levis or something? Like seriously, that is the decision GMs are making. And like, I don't care if I end up being wrong 15 years from now, there's no way I would ever do that. There's no way I would ever make that draft decision based
Well,
on
and you look at
measurables.
guys on the biggest stages. Has Will Levis even ever played on a big stage?
No.
Like CJ Stroud just did that in a
He
playoff
played at Oxford, Mississippi at 11 a.m. once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he played
And took it
in
Iowa.
front
out.
of 40,000
Or
people.
no,
Took it out.
he didn't even play Iowa. He was too scared to show up to the Music City Bowl. I mean, yeah,
He
this
played
guy
in
had an
Neyland.
opportunity to play in the bright lights at Nissan Stadium, and I mean, he backed away.
Yeah, wait,
He
he
put-
played in Neyland and what
He played at Neyland and threw for like under 100 yards and like 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
I don't know what his exact stat line was, but it was terrible.
I mean, we
was
held him
terrible.
what to 6 points.
Yeah, I think it was 45-6 or something
So-
like that.
Give me
Some-
Stroud. Give me Stroud. I wouldn't
Yeah,
rather
Levis
Stroud was a
is a
Titan,
joke.
that for sure.
That would be sick.
What do you think the odds are we draft a quarterback in the first round? Low, right? We're not going to do that.
If we trade
Low.
up, I mean,
Yeah, it depends if you lose. If you lose this next game and you got a little higher pick, and then you don't have to. I mean, you can trade a little. Your trade value obviously increases a little bit.
Who would you draft?
At quarterback?
I mean, it would change, but it's based. What are the quarterbacks that you would trade up to draft? I guess. On this draft?
Well, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a loaded question because I don't think we're gonna be in. Even if we trade up, is it going to be like the top 3 picks? Like, I don't think it's even worth trading up because I don't think you can even get.
That's
I mean,
what I'm saying.
the
Do
two
you
that
have a
come to mind are CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, but I think they're going to be 2 top 3 or 4 picks most likely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you have guys that you say, yeah, I'm trading up to the top 4?
Even
like,
here's what's weird for me
I think
is
if you could go to 4 and get Bryce Young, you go to 4 and get Bryce Young.
that I mean,
I don't
yeah,
think
if we
you
could get
will, though. I don't
Stroud
think
or
you
Bryce
will.
Young,
I think they're
at
going to go at least one, like 3, like top 3.
well, and Bryce Young even has a little. I have a little yellow light with him just because of his size and frame and everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Watching
dude's gotta
Bryce
put on
Young
some
as a
weight.
Titan would be awesome, though.
I'd rather just try to draft Hooker in the second round, or maybe
That
trade
would-
back
yeah,
and
that's a
draft
good
him late in
point.
the first if quarterbacks are going.
This
you know?
goes pro my strategy of drafting a like mid-level quarterback every single year. Like, I want to draft a quarterback in the 2nd to 4th round every single year. Because I think I can get a B guy that's an actual A guy. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I can get one of your mid-graded players who can step up and be because I mean they have just about the same bust percent. Like, not that many like top guys percentage wise even end up being long-term starters in the end. Like, it's not like you're really even you're kind of just
it's
you know
good chance to be a bust anyway. Might as well just keep going for
might as well.
It's like look at like Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, 2 number 1 picks that are like Kyler's had some really like good highlight seasons and padded the stat sheet, but neither of those guys are really doing anything.
They're not doing
So they're not
anything.
long-term start. Like, Mariota was a starter for the Titans for several years, but he wasn't the long-term, like, where I'm going to give this guy several contract kind of starter. They just don't come around much, but they honestly are just as likely to come from 3rd or 4th round. I feel like if you do it consistently, because it's not often you are like, well, I'm going to draft the top quarterback. You don't know when you're going to line up. Like, you don't know when the Titans are going to be so bad where they get the number 1 or 2, 3 pick.
Yeah.
And even the quarterbacks that are in the draft, like you may draft Zach Wilson at number 2 because he's the best quarterback apparent. Like,
Yeah, that's
just
a way better example than what I threw out. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just never, I don't know. It's just hard to. Sam Darnold. I mean, there's so many quarterbacks that bust even in the top 5 picks. Not even bust, like, just aren't good. Aren't really
franchise guys for 10, 15 years.
It hasn't happened a lot recently, I feel like. I mean, you can name great guys that were
Mahomes.
drafted early, but you think about a Josh Rosen or something, like a top 15
terrible.
or top 10 pick wherever he was.
Yeah. You think Stetson's got any kind of chance in the NFL?
No.
No.
Like,
No.
it's
Does
just
he get
not
drafted?
gonna.
Does he even get drafted?
Yeah. Someone
I
will
could
draft
see
him.
him going 7th round or something.
No,
like
I
that.
bet it's like I could see him getting drafted in the 5th round or something.
I was gonna say, I bet he's a 5th round guy.
Stetson Bennett 5th round just sounds perfect to me.
To the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh yeah.
God, they just keep cycling through from Sam Ellinger now to Stetson Bennett.
Now, dude, Stetson
kinda-
Bennett 5th round to like the Patriots sounds like it could work.
Oh, gross. Yeah, that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Belichick move, just kind of rotating in Bailey Zappi, Mac Jones. Now just kind of rotating in these random white guys. Eventually they hit.
Stetson Bennett will get demolished in the NFL, right? Like no way he's a winning quarterback.
Well, it's just a whole different situation. And don't get me wrong, Stetson Bennett obviously has had a good college career. But
Yeah,
the guy, and he
he's
throws
done
amazing. He's thrown some dots. He can throw some deep balls.
He also did get rattled. He looked rattled. That was honestly the first time I've seen Stetson Bennett truly rattled. I felt like was in that game the other day, where it was truly like moving. The one thing I could always say about Stetson Bennett is like, kind of seems like he does have a feel on the pace of like, timing of all stuff. But like, it felt like to me, it just like not like there was anything specific I could really point to, but there were just several plays where it seemed like he was just moving too fast. Like his head was just moving too fast. Throws were coming off mark, off target, like not even off target, just like bad missed timing, thrown way too early or, I don't know. He seemed when they got kind of down a little bit for what I haven't watched every single second of Georgia football the last 2 years, but I've watched quite a bit, and especially the bigger games. And that's why he's, been so successful. That's why he's won as a college quarterback at Georgia. They don't need a world beater. They need a Stetson Bennett. Like they need a guy who just is there to control the game. Like I want to control the clock. I want to, they still
somewhat
play.
mobile.
Someone can make you just 1 or 2 extra plays a game. Like just 1 or 2 extra plays a game by mobility or scrambling. He throws a good ball and it's pretty accurate. And, they have a ton of playmakers. So let the offense work, and he does a good job of that. But, that can only get you so far in the pros.
Well, and he's not any kind of intangible or like combine type guy. Like that's definitely not his strong suit. You're gonna pick a Will Levis a lot earlier than Stetson Bennett.
You're gonna pick an Anthony Richardson a lot higher than Stetson Bennett, just because. And I mean, his stats weren't that good. He makes plays, but he also makes a lot of bad plays. But because he has a cannon, he's super fast. It's one of those guys that they might just go ahead and take. But in college, you take Stetson Bennett a million times over Anthony Richardson, I think, to lead your team to a national championship.
What about old Maxie? What about Duggan? What's his deal?
I don't know if he's. I feel like there hasn't been too much talk on him.
I'll take him in the 3rd round.
I would.
Yeah, give it. Come on.
I mean, he's tough. You know that.
He is just not to be too ignorant, but he's like a senior, mobile. Like he's going to the NFL next year.
I think so. I'm assuming he is. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll say he is. I think he is. I haven't checked that to be
just
fact,
like watching how he plays football. I'd like to have someone like that on my team.
Yeah, he's gutsy. He fits the frame. He's athletic.
Yeah, he is.
I
just am just desperate for a quarterback, a Titans quarterback at this point. I'm ready for the one, like we've been making Tannehill. He's fit for a while, but I'm ready for truly the two-tone blue, just like savior. It's just like, wow. Like he is all the deficiencies that we have on this football field. He is overcoming by just being the best. They don't come around often, but I'm talking about one of those guys. Maybe it's Josh Dobbs.
That would be crazy.
I was texting our friend and former host Reese about Josh Dobbs the other day, and I was saying I think that's like some kind of fever dream I had back in 2016 was Josh Dobbs leading the Tennessee Titans into a playoff run.
Yeah,
I mean, your dream could be coming true as we speak.
Yeah.
Dobbs winning 2 playoff games will like statue.
Yeah, at least for the state of Tennessee. Like just
are you kidding? Yeah. Like on the bridge. Like somewhere, maybe on the Capitol building. Outside of the Tennessee Capitol building, Josh Dobbs.
No, you need to put it in in Cookeville. So whenever you're driving between Nashville and Knoxville, you just remember that Josh Dobbs is about.
You need to replace that janky like I think they've actually already torn it down. The Nathan Bedford Forrest statue.
Oh
it's
yeah,
Just
gone.
a giant
put a
Josh
Josh
Dobbs statue right there.
just put an Astro Dobbs, yeah, like a rocket with
Put
Dobbs.
NASA flags and
Yeah,
Tennessee and Titans flags everywhere.
that
Yeah.
would be awesome.
That's all it takes. This win and 2 playoff games, and he's there.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go back real quick to that. I just have one more thing about that Ohio State Georgia game. So I think it was Ruggles was the kicker, which is just tough name for a kicker. Would you rather, like last play of the game, you have a kick to win the game or lose the game. Would you rather just absolutely shank it like he did, or would you rather like hit the post?
50-yarder.
Hit the post.
50-yarder.
Yeah.
It'd be memorable at least if you hit the post. Everybody would just kind of
Like, do you think that haunts him the same forever as if he hit the post? I don't think it does.
I don't know. That's a really interesting question because it is kind of like, well, guys, I just missed it. Like,
yeah, that's it. It's like I
missed.
Yeah, if you hit the post, it's like that haunts you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but I think you
there's a lot
still
of
gotta
what
go. I think you still gotta go hitting the post because that's not as embarrassing. Like,
yeah,
dude, you hit the post from 50. Like, you put a good effort on it. This guy he totally choked.
And I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought it was going to be a real kick at least. Like when you see like a knuckleballer just go hard hook, that's a tough scene.
I knew that Georgia messed up, but they left too much time on the clock. When I'm head coach, we will score with 1 second left. Like I am so tired of scoring with under a minute left and leaving if they only need a field goal. If they need a touchdown, I'm okay with it. Like, yes. Yeah. But if they only need a field goal, you have to play because that's not that hard. They need like 35 yards from where they get the ball on like a normal kick and they're in field goal range. So like, that's pretty possible as long as they have even 2-3 plays like that they can do. So at least like be a little, I know it's like, you got to score. And if you score, you score. Like, I'm never anti-scoring. But I just think if you have at least a little bit opportunity to milk that at the end, when you're right up next to the goal line, you got to try at least. But I want to give a shout out Mitch Rossi there on Ohio State, putting in work all over the field.
Williamson County guy. Franklin
High. Yeah. He was a true counterpart. It kind of like true, like high school glory days. I was like, man, he was like played my exact position for Franklin. Like we were almost mirror. Like he played the same position on offense, and we like went against each other on offense, defense a bunch. And it was kind of like, man, it's awesome. Year like 6 for him. Now he's balling out for Ohio State. Like kept with the vision, respect.
I thought about you, man. I was like, where were Seth's offers when this guy was getting Ohio State offers?
I know you guys were seeing this, and he's going to Ohio State. Where's the phone call?
Jeez. What do y'all think? I mean, let's talk real quick. Just what do you think going into this national championship game? TCU, Georgia. Obviously, Georgia's the favorite. They're much more talented, but I mean, I'm cheering
going for the
TCU.
Frogs, baby. Yeah, I'm going. That is my official statement. I'm cheering for the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, I think that's kind of America's team right now for sure. TCU, everybody going for them, but I mean, I would think talent-wise, there's just got to be a big gap here. I mean, this is.
But like, what's the talent gap between Michigan and Georgia?
I think it's not. I mean,
I think it's still substantial.
Yeah, it's significant enough.
Yeah,
it's not massive, but Georgia, I think, just talent-wise across the board, they are so deep and so good everywhere. They don't really have too many weaknesses.
Yeah, I think all I really have to say about it is it's a beautiful story. Like you get this underdog story in TCU that has proven they definitely belong there. And then you have Georgia, the massive favorite, but I don't think anyone's expecting a blowout. I mean, maybe there are some SEC fans that are expecting a big blowout.
I could see a blowout happening.
Oh yeah, I could see this getting ugly quick.
Well, like what if TCU got 2 6 picks his last game? That's how football works. Like they can easily throw 2 pick sixes, and then it could get out of hand. But
I did think
it probably won't. It probably won't. It'll be like a 12-point Georgia win, like fairly comfortable in the end, but a good game through 3 quarters.
Yeah,
that would be.
I don't have a good gauge on it. I just hope TCU gives them a good game. I mean, I hope TCU wins.
I do too. That'd be awesome. I need to get I have a Frogs hat. I got to find from I don't know. I have no idea where it is, but I'll bring it out. Let's go Frogs. Oh, that'll be next Monday night. Should we go just live for the Natty?
We can.
Might as well.
We need to get on Twitch where we could actually be like streaming
our live pod.
That would be sick. I'd be down for that.
We could look into it for sure.
We should just be on Switch every night.
Yeah.
Twitch.
Or we could at least like
Get the
just Twitter
fans in there.
we could at least Twitter live it while we're doing it.
Yeah.
People
Just like have the space open.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
exactly.
did a couple of those Twitter spaces where we got people coming in.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying we do it while we're recording as well, though. So like if someone wants to
Yeah.
hop in, we just put the phone next to the mic so everyone can hear it.
Yeah, it's just like Colin's show.
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, did they
Hey, Seth, this some BS.
what'd they do about that football game? As of when we started recording this podcast,
Game postponed. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, what exactly was going on?
Are like people? It looks like people are leaving. Do they cancel it? Like, is that postponed for a day?
I bet it's postponed. I bet they're not going to play it.
I mean, everyone's walking out. So
yeah, they're not playing again.
Y'all remember that game that the Titans played in Miami that was postponed for about 8 hours, and it ended up being, I think, the longest NFL game of all time?
yeah, dude, because I was at work and then I came home looking to check the score. I hadn't known anything was on, and it was like second quarter or something. And I'm like, what is going on?
That was a miserable day. A
horrible loss too. Like that was.
And didn't we lose? Who got hurt that day?
I don't know. Somebody. I mean, Tannehill.
Was that the first time?
Probably.
Was it the first time Lawan got hurt bad?
Probably. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
God, we can't, dude. We should have cut Lawan 2 years ago, 3 years ago, probably. Honestly,
He's just
I mean,
not been that good. And
well, it's just been hurt 2 full years,
Yeah.
2 out of 3 full years, and like was not that good the year he wasn't hurt.
Ate up a lot of cap while sitting on the bench.
Did y'all see the last thing I want to say about this the playoff situation? Michigan, JJ McCarthy said a lot in his presser before the game happened, and
Quarterbacks are idiots.
One of the things they asked him about was there was one question about the defense and everything, but then they said, what do you think about TCU hoping you throw the ball a lot because they don't think you can throw that well? And he was like, I pray they think that, or so, it was something along those lines. And then he comes out and throws, which obviously they still scored a lot of points, but you come out and throw 2 pick sixes that essentially lose you the game. Not good.
Not good at all. People need to just stop saying anything in pregame. Like, never say anything at all. You got to take the Saban or the Belichick method when doing pregame, like media stuff. All respect to the other team always.
Yeah.
Like, never, ever give them any sort of disrespect. Not even an ounce. Like, don't even, because it's just a better way to play the game. But, that's going to get shoved right back in your face. And, like, what's the benefit of that? Like,
it's just bulletin board material for the team, really. It's
the only benefit is, like, people are like, wow, this guy's really cocky. Like, this guy's not a good guy. And the downside is you just fired up TCU and then you took an L and then you have to wear those comments for the
only time that works is in like the UFC.
Yeah, I was gonna say where
you have to truly intimidate.
Well, and that's how you make money and you get the big fights, is by being a crazy awesome personality.
And it's 1v1. It's me. It is me. I am just like that's a whole different. Football is a team game. There's 11 of us out on that field. If like a UFC, like it is me versus you. I am disrespecting me. You are little. Like you are little. I'm coming for all of that. That's a funny comparison. But yeah, you gotta keep it classy out there. Unless you want to troll, unless you want to disrespect. But you gotta go all in on the disrespect if you're gonna play that side, I think. Like you gotta be just like, ooh, like you can't.
Well, and it's one thing if a guy like Randy Moss or T.O. or some cocky receiver comes out and says he's going to go all out, because it's like, then even if you don't win, but say you have 100 yards, it's like, well, I mean, I backed up what I said I was going to do. So,
well, and you've done it time and time again. Like JJ McCarthy was like 10th game starting. It's not like you've ever really won. All right, Keep talking, little buddy.
Yeah.
Take that L all the way back home, Michigan.
There's another big bowl game that hit close to home for the Pay Dirt crew. The Orange Bowl, the true Orange Bowl, as orange as it gets. Tennessee just takes it to Clemson. And I think I thought it was a good game. Like, Tennessee obviously came out on top and had a pretty good control of it for the most part, but Clemson was definitely in that game, it seemed like to me. Joe Milton did what he needed to do. We were talking about this before we started recording. I think he cemented himself as the starter. I don't think, Trucial, we'll see what you have to say about this. I don't think any of us are expecting a national championship or anything next year for Tennessee. We'll see. We'll see what Trucial has to say.
Expectations can be high.
But, I mean, Joe looked good. He looked good. He completed some deep balls. He also threw that one to Ramel Keaton that was just a good defensive play. Trucial, you might remember it. I want to say his first or second quarter that he threw a bomb 65.
And it was stopped on the one. He was stopped on the 1 yard line.
No. I'm talking. This one was incomplete. So I was just pointing out another one where a DB just stuck his hand in there and got it, but it was on the money. So I heard the term Jover throws. He kept the Jover throws on the low. So that was good. But I mean, I think Tennessee's in a good shape to have another double-digit win season next year for sure. We'll see. And the crazy thing is we have no idea what Georgia's going to look like. I think that's really the only other team you're super concerned about in the East. So
you could expectations can be fairly high. Like, you did show that you kind of can be that another top, if not like top dog. I mean, it's hard to really unseat Georgia if they're two-time defending national champion, but Tennessee's kind of shown they're a tier above everybody else in the East, really. But I mean, the only team that beat you is South Carolina, and you can't really. I mean, they're not. They're really not. They're not quite there. Yeah. So I think Hendon puts you in a good spot. I mean, he just beat Clemson in a bowl game where Clemson had plenty of time to prepare. Like, that's a good test of,
and a good defense still.
Yeah, and he does like. He may not be quite as efficient as Hendon was this year, but he gives you the threat of the deep ball and the deep ball. Well, like, he hit several deep throws just the other day. You only need to hit 2 to 3 of those. If you can hit 2 to 3 of those big chunk, long, deep throws a game, you open up so much of your offense for the, all the rest of the field when you're really trying to just gain space. Now he'll have to hit on some of that intermediate stuff too, because he throws a great deep ball, and he obviously is physically gifted and can run if needed as well. But controlling the offense game after game will be something to watch. And but I think he has earned the chance to go into the season as the starter. He's won big games as your starting quarterback now, so
Well, and Seth, you mentioned the intermediate throws, and a couple of the situations in the red zone is what really impressed me. There was a specific, I think it was to Squirrel White, maybe. There was a touchdown he threw where he showed that he's a veteran, that he's been doing this for a long time, where he basically looked off the safety, pump faked, like got the safety to draw in to open up Squirrel's lane. So he just fired it in there. How he does, he throws a fastball in the end zone. So I think that also impressed me too, showing, hey, I'm not just this guy who's got a crazy big arm anymore. Like, I know what I'm doing too.
Yeah. Fun to watch. I mean, he's always been intriguing, there's been a lot of people that have always wanted to watch Joe Milton as the quarterback. Like, he has always attracted people just being like, yeah, we got to get him as our quarterback. Go all the way back to Michigan. Like, his time at Michigan was like, yeah, Joe Milton, this guy's going to be awesome. And now hopefully in an efficient offense, in an offense set up for quarterback to succeed, we'll see what he's got. This is I think he's earned the theme of opportunity. He had his opportunity. This was kind of a tryout for him. We mentioned it before. So, like, it was stated beforehand, this is kind of what this was. Similar to, we'll talk about Josh Dobbs in a second. Like, they had an opportunity in a game with the team to win and to give the team a chance to win. And he's earned the chance to, continue to put himself in that spot to lead the team. So it's nice to know that kind of going to the off season. Now, if a transfer, like, the only thing that really would change, because, your 5-star freshman is still probably not going to be the guy in the first fall. Like, I mean, out the gates. That's just very rare for a true freshman to come in to a place like Tennessee and just start right off the bat. So really your only other question to me would be like if you would actively pursue a transfer. But I just don't see a good enough option out there that's going to come in and unseat Milton. And you got to kind of reward a player for spending 3 years in your system and like staying there. And I think they do trust him. I think they do trust him to run the offense. So I think the players like him and like want him to be their quarterback too. So I think you roll with Joe and then, see what happens. Of course, that's football, man. He could get hurt in week 1 and then it's all of a sudden, well,
Nico, yeah,
it's Nico time. But I think you hope that he can have some sustained success. I don't really think you have a reason to think he won't. I guess that's a big point.
Yeah. Trushel, what are your expectations for the Vols for next year?
I mean, if we're talking expectations, SEC East champion, nothing less than that. I don't care.
The Georgia hangover year.
Do you know what happens when you
the double hangover year?
Yeah, when you drink heavy for 2 nights in a row, that hangover you're having the next day, when you pull a tough shift a Friday and Saturday night, and you wake up on that Sunday with that hangover, it's unreal. So Georgia's hangover next season.
Yeah, we just got to double down on the natty hangover.
They might win 6 games next year. With Tennessee coming in, expectations
6 games. That'd be
12,
awesome.
12-0. Joe Milton en route to a Heisman run.
If they go 12-0, he will win the Heisman.
To a 20-year NFL like Hall of Fame career. I think Joe Milton has the opportunity with his intangibles, his size, and just his natural ability to be a quarterback. Like you were saying, Seth, where people want to come see him. This guy's the truth. He's up next. You guys just
I hope so. Like I can sit here right now and say I hope Joe Milton has a 20-year NFL career and I get to watch him in the NFL for 20 years. That would be awesome.
I think looking at, because we don't know what Bama and Georgia are going to look like next year. That's the other thing. You kind of know what Tennessee is going to look like next year. Like Tennessee's going to have that high-powered offense still. Georgia and Bama losing both their quarterbacks, it's just a little bit more of an unknown. So I would say, Georgia, do you know do they have a big non-con game next year?
The Vols?
Yeah.
I don't. I want to say a bunch of the non-cons were switched around.
Virginia because of Nashville. Is that this next upcoming year?
I'm pretty sure. Weren't we supposed to play Oklahoma or Texas or something, and then it got canceled because they're being moved over?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, one of them did get. I really think it's like Virginia.
Well, that's the other thing too. Assuming, let's say Oklahoma and Texas are not there next year, which I don't know if they're supposed to be, or
it is Virginia, Seth.
Virginia. Okay. Well, then you have like the expectation for me is you should win 10 games. You should beat everyone except for Bama and Georgia. And the thing is you beat Bama this past year. And we don't really know what they're going to look like. They're not going to have Bryce Young, which is I have to imagine that makes them take a step back.
Oh man, this season would have been terrible for them if they didn't have Bryce Young. I don't think
they'll probably be better. That's the unfortunate.
Yeah, that's fair. That's the thing. It's
Ty Simpson comes in and just runs it up. I mean, I don't know. Bryce Young's pretty amazing.
I don't know. We'll see, but I think the expectation should be you have 10 games that you should check mark as wins. And then Georgia and Alabama are just, you don't know. So you should be expecting, I don't think it's too much to expect an SEC East Division title. Just because we don't know what Georgia's going to look like. I don't know. That's the other thing, though. Does Georgia have like a 5-star QB as their backup right now? Not that it's like the biggest deal, but or is it going to be another like if it's a freshman, that's probably a good thing for you, even though we've seen plenty of great freshman quarterbacks recently in college football.
I'm not too sure what they're going to look like next year. I know Alabama has their young talent QB, but Georgia Georgia might be one of those teams that really benefits from the transfer portal.
That's true. We don't know what. Yeah,
a lot to still happen.
Definitely. I'll tell you what, though, we talk about all these teams coming over to the Big Ten and the SEC soon, and we were talking about this before the pod as well. Pac-12 not looking good. Penn State, which is pretty much cemented third best team in the Big Ten, takes it to Utah, the Pac-12 champ.
Oh, that is a bad look.
Yeah.
I wasn't even really thinking about that because it was like Rose Bowl, and I was like, oh, they're just in the Rose Bowl. But yeah, that's your Pac-12 champ just getting housed, dude.
By like I was saying, the cemented third best team, and like there's a big difference between Michigan, Ohio State, and then Penn State. Like Penn State's kind of that clear tier 2 of the Big Ten, and then there's no one else in there with them, and then it's everyone else besides it. So, but then obviously USC losing to Tulane is a bad look too.
Yeah,
like I know Tulane had a good year, but it's
terrible day for the dude. What about USC's season just going off then? Like 11-1, about to make the playoff. Now, I guess they still did win the Heisman, but lose the Pac-12 championship, lose the playoff, and then lose to Tulane. Come on. Tulane, shout out to Tulane, though, dude. They easily could have just lost that game, but they didn't.
Yeah.
12 wins for
was it 31-14?
That sounds right.
31-16.
Oh, okay.
They were down by 15 points.
Nice.
Yeah. But that was actually an amazing game. Bowl games are so fun because you will just you'll have like a really chaotic and weird game of just like teams that don't know, it's just teams that don't know each other, that haven't played in a while. And then it'll get like 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and it's like a 1-score game, and it actually gets like super intense, and people get really, really into it. I think it's awesome. It's just time after time, bowl games are close in the end. And you just like, that's all we want to watch. We just want to, I don't care really what two teams are playing, like how good they are or not. I want it to be a fun finish at the end. I'd much rather watch like the Bahamas Bowl if it's like 39-38 than the college football playoff if it's like 50-10.
Yes, I want
more. I want more competitive action. And this weekend really gave me hope for the playoff. To be honest, like the 12-team playoff, it got me kind of excited for that because I was like, man, these games are awesome. I want more of these truly do or die games. I want more of that. It's not a scenario driven do or die game. It's a true win or go home playoff game. I want to see that in college football. I think it gave us 2 great games this weekend. Now it hasn't always produced like that, but I think you'll just get more of those. Like, yeah, you might miss on some of those, but you're going to get more of those exciting games too that really just are just crazy down to the wire.
Yeah, and what you kind of mentioned it just then, what's going to be crazy is I think Danny Cannell pointed it out. I saw on Twitter. He was like, these awesome bowl games, like just imagine these are going to be playoff games. Like imagine if that was a playoff game.
Yeah, exactly. The bowl games are already awesome. Now let's actually add an element of like, okay, you keep playing. Like you're playing for a championship. Football is just awesome because you just toss the ball out there, and even if you're playing for nothing, you end up playing hard. Like
competition.
Competition. Just you got to bring it out. So might as well just be playing for something else. Anyway, just like imagine if Tennessee had another game because they won that game. Like the Orange Bowl was already big enough, like a lot of fun, great game, great atmosphere, and it was a huge win. And like really, but imagine how the implication of that if it's a playoff game.
It would have been in Knoxville too.
In Neyland.
Like that is
beating Dabo in Neyland would have just been that's awesome. That's what we got to look forward to, man. That was my official statement. I actually haven't. My official statement on the 2022 Razorback season is I am glad we get to play again next year. That's truly that's my statement. Like, I had some fun this year. I also took some big L's. I'm just glad we get to line it up and do it again next year. Fresh slate, new expectations, certainly higher than they deserve to be. And we get to line it up and I get to hope for maybe one day hosting a playoff game. There's a lot to be hopeful for out there.
Definitely. Well, there's a lot to be hopeful for coming up this Saturday night.
That's right.
In Jacksonville. We touched on it earlier, but we do have I mean, possible statue game for Josh Dobbs coming up. Well, potential statue. The first of maybe 3 games that would cement the statue in the state of Tennessee. But guys, we said a lot of things about the Titans all year. Truthfully, you pointed this out to me earlier. There were times where we were feeling really good, where we were feeling really bad, but something always kind of lingered, and it was the fact that we mentioned 8-9 division champs, and it all coming down to Jacksonville. And that's exactly what we got. Our sicko mode.
Sicko mode.
I don't even know what you want to call it. This is what. And
well, you mentioned fever dream. That's about right. Like
the evil
sicko mode fever dream is a week 18 winner take all in Jacksonville.
Yeah. I mean, the evil self-loathing Titan fan from the Jeff Fisher years has
raised on Jeff Fisher.
Yeah,
and Mike Malarkey.
Has turned me into all right, we need this season to end in Jacksonville, playoffs on the line, squeezing in with a record under 500. I mean, that is written in the stars by Jeff Fisher. So, I mean, that's
what I saw someone tweet out. Oh, the Titans need 8 wins. Time to make the call. And it's just Jeff Fisher running out of the tunnel.
I think it is kind of, I think we're all in a pretty good mindset that like this team, like I'm not, in one way, I can't even be hurt by losing this game this weekend because I don't we are bad. Like you can't hurt me this week. Like it will be a terrible, pathetic collapse, but I've already felt that pain.
No, I agree.
I've already been grieving this for the last 6 weeks. Now I am turned around. I have a new life about me. It is just a 1-week match. We are playing the Jacksonville Jags in a winner go, we control our own destiny in week 18 playing the Jags. Like that is honestly, every single year, if you give me that opportunity, I'm probably taking it going into the year. Like what if we were 13-3 playing the Jags for the division? Like that would be, everyone would be so excited, but who cares that we're 8-9 playing or 7-9 playing for the division? It's just the same. That banner still hangs, baby. That banner still flies. So I'm excited, man. Win and get in the tournament. Like we see it time and time again. You never know. Once that becomes postseason play, you never know. You're not telling me right now that if we beat the Jags and we're hosting a playoff game versus like the Chargers, dude, they're not unstoppable. There's no team in the AFC that is like the biggest juggernaut of all time. Like, give me a shot at it. Give me a shot at home and let me go on the road and make some noise. Like I saw. I'm excited. And if not, we lose and we'll get a better draft pick. Whoopee. Some people want to just outright lose right now. That is a loser. That is a loser mentality that I don't even want to hear mentioned and brought up if you call yourself a fan of the Tennessee Titans. We have a chance to win the AFC South on Saturday night, and we have to take it. We have to take it.
That's what I feel like. And we're so not, but I feel like we're playing with house money almost because I'm the same as Seth right now where I'm already been hurt. Like we're not a good football team, but the fact that we have Josh Dobbs running out there leading our team in a week 8, I'm just reiterating what Seth said, but a week 18 winner take all in Jacksonville, that's hilarious to me. And if we win that game, it'll be one of the best football sports moments of my life because that will be just an ultimate.
It truly would be one of the, we are in a no-lose situation. If we lose, it will suck and it will but it'll just be another loss. But if we win, it will be one of the funniest wins and most joyful wins I have ever experienced in my life. To lose 6 straight and then win on the road with Josh Dobbs as your quarterback is so funny. And honestly, so Mike Vrabel and the Titans to do this. And this would be it's stupid to even think of it, but this somehow would be the Titans team to win the Super Bowl. The worst. No, you gotta just ride with me on this one for a second. But do you ever think the Titans are going to win the Super Bowl as a 1 seed? No.
I mean, maybe that's not.
No,
I don't
they're
know.
definitely we're never going to be the good team that wins the Super Bowl. We're going to be the team that they remember for being the worst team that ever made the playoffs to suddenly win the Super Bowl.
Somehow we'd have to be the only team to win a Super Bowl with a losing record, right?
Mike Vrabel just turned it to another level and just won 4 straight games, and we just won the whole thing.
I'm down.
I mean, that would
I'm
be
all for it.
Josh Dobbs. What kind of contract? If Josh Dobbs comes in, like we got to give him a lifetime contract, right? If he wins a Super Bowl, it's just lifetime, lifetime.
Keys to the state. Forget the city. Keys to the state.
Yeah, I mean, he's already earned his East Tennessee orange britches. He's gonna get his Middle Tennessee Titan, and then I wonder
how many more. I wonder how many more Tennesseans you're gonna have tuning into this game just because. Well, and the last game he started.
Because there's a lot of Vols fans who
don't care about the Titans. Yeah, they don't care about pro football. They're all.
That's funny. That is kind of funny to me.
Which I respect.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I respect that.
Because I'm much more of a college fan, and I get it. If you live in Knoxville, it's not like if I didn't live in Nashville, would I be as big of a Titans fan? I don't know.
No way. There's no way I would have been. I probably would have liked the Titans, but like I only grew up so hardcore because they were downtown. Like I was.
Yeah, if you were in Memphis or Knoxville, you just got different things to kind of worry about other than the Titans. I feel like
the Ice Bears.
Yeah, the Ice Bears are an elite hockey franchise. Very fun to go to their games.
I'm excited though. What are some quote unquote big names do we have not playing this Saturday? Do we know? Do we have? I mean, I guess it's still pretty early.
They said Simmons and Autry are playing.
Okay.
They don't know about Fulton. Fulton back would be awesome.
Yeah. Offensive line is decimated as usual.
Yeah, but that's just that the starting offensive line sucks. So might as well, like, who cares?
I mean, I'd like to have
Ben Jones and Nate Davis both out for the year.
Oh, Ben Jones is out for the year. What? I did not know that. That actually, he is okay. Those are two that I would like to have.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure our O-line is like really.
Are we starting LaRaven Clark again? LaRaven,
like. Jamarco Jones and LaRaven Clark might be starting.
Dennis Daly might make a play that wins us this game.
Dennis Daly is going to be the reason we win a Super Bowl.
I almost have this like crazy vision of like Dennis Daly like recovering a really crucial fumble like in the end zone. Like it's just like, and Dennis Daly scores a touchdown.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs tries to QB sneak it, jump over the pile, it gets popped out. And Dennis Daly just
with like 13 seconds left in the game. Like it is just hyper critical time. And Dennis Daly jumps on a fumble.
He just comes out of the bottom of the pile. Like, yeah,
all will be forgiven.
Awesome.
If the Titans win this game, all will be forgiven for life. I don't like, this is how much this matters. This will be so awesome to me. Like I will forget all the transgressions of this whole year by the whole coaching staff. I will run it back with Todd Downing next year. Like I will run it back.
Oh my God.
They win this game. I'll be happy if they don't, but if they do, I would support it. Like I will ride for it. I won't object to them firing him, but I would come out in full support if they retain him if we win this game. I don't care. Like, yeah. What are you going to say? He's a 2-time AFC South champion, back to back.
Yeah, I don't know if
Technically
I can get
can't
behind
say
that one.
I guess.
Technically can. Oh, Saturday night in Jacksonville just sounds awesome.
I'm glad. So, I mean, Big Jeff and Autry are playing though. I mean, that's the other thing.
If the
maybe
defense
maybe
hot.
the Jags just won't score. Like
that's our only chance. I mean, that's been our only chance all year. And then when your defense like gets crippled by injury and all of a sudden isn't, there was a minute there our defense looked legit. Like that is what gave us any hope for this year was that, wow, that defense is really good. If we can just get because like the last time we played the Jags, we were Swiss cheese. I mean, we were just getting absolutely toasted. We weren't even close. We weren't even in the same area code as their receivers.
Yeah, so Evan Ingram looked like Tony Gonzalez out there. Like
maybe it's all part of the plan. Like we did that, and we got a whole new game plan for him this week, and it'll just blow Trevor Lawrence's mind. I'm just praying.
Yeah, it could have been good. We lost to them. Now they're kind of going to be
overconfident. This team,
a little overconfident.
It doesn't take much overconfidence to be overconfident. Like if you just are a little bit thinking, okay, we got this. Like we're at home. They've lost 6 straight. We're hot. NFL is crazy, man. It turns on a dime. Like it literally is so week to week, and we have been bad. But I know if I have learned anything from watching Mike Vrabel over the past 4 or 5 years, it's that there's always something like left in the tank. Like there always seems to be a way to like figure something out to get a win. I think they got it. I really do. Like I haven't felt this. Maybe it's just sheer ignorance, sheer foolishness, but like I'm fully aware of how bad Jacksonville dominated us last time. I am fully aware of how bad we have been the last 6 weeks. I mean, no more. Me and Will witnessed it in person. Spent our holiday in the bitter cold to go watch us lose to the Texans. Like I am aware of how bad we are, but I just also know that we're going to win this one. It's just somehow the universe works that way. Whenever you think you start to know what's going to happen, it just doesn't. And that's the only pure explanation I can give to why we are winning this game. Because we shouldn't. There is in no way, shape, or form should we win this football game.
No, not on paper for sure.
No, not even in logic.
The only logic, yeah.
The only logic is that it's totally illogical, which is why it has to happen.
Yeah.
AFC South champs, boys. 3 in a row. Hang the banner.
We'll see what happens. They got to line it up Saturday night. Is that do they always do that like last week of the? I mean, I know they do it in the playoffs. They always do like Saturday and Sunday games last week of the year.
I think so. How about all the Jags whining though about less day of rest? That's hilarious.
Well, that is like a big advantage for the Titans playing last Thursday, getting a big, extra couple days.
Yeah, they played
rest.
Sunday to Saturday. We played Thursday. Well, yeah, it's awesome. And we rested all our players the other night.
Yeah, that's true.
We're gonna have fresh legs out there. It's gonna be interesting.
Hopefully. Well, before we close it out, we'll do some final thoughts. I do just want to point out, I love this time of year when college basketball, it's in full swing, but it's still people are still in.
It's really starting to heat up. Yeah,
but I love get hot. Like I did this just like an hour or two ago before we hopped on the pod. The game for the Bills and Bengals was either on commercial or maybe it had started to be postponed already. And I see, Purdue and Rutgers, little college basketball. And I saw it was at the very end of the game. And I was like, perfect. And I switch it on, 1 point game. Like, 10 seconds left. Oh, perfect. Perfect time to tune in. Rutgers hits a big 3 with just a couple seconds left to take the lead. Then some pandemonium ensues. A guy like Purdue tips the ball out of bounds. There's only 0.4 of a second left. All Rutgers has to do is pass it in. The guy shuffles his feet before he throws it in. So they give the ball back to Purdue. And then Purdue doesn't end up hitting the shot. But I love being able to flip on college basketball. That's what makes college basketball so much fun. Because usually those last 2 minutes take about half an hour. But when you get to those final seconds of those close games, even if it's a 5-point game, anything could happen. So I'm excited.
There's so many opportunities too, just throughout the week to turn on. Like you said, hey, on a Wednesday, I'm flipping through the channel and I see a random Big Ten basketball game and it's a 2-point game with a minute left. Like there's so many opportunities that you get to experience that throughout the year. And especially as football is winding down, we need that little extra juice during the week.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun having diversity when you can go, like this is a great next few weeks or month or two for sports when you have big time basketball and really big time football on, where you can just kind of have that any night of the week.
Yeah. They do a good job of scheduling that for us in the dead of winter. So we can be, nice and happy and watching sports. That was actually my favorite thing about being a student at a, major SEC school was I kind of went thinking, football Saturdays, like that's going to be awesome. And it was. Of course, we were terrible in my college career, so it probably didn't pop like quite like it did. But my true favorite was, having SEC basketball like on a Tuesday night on campus, just like walk down and get like a true like top tier matchup just on a Tuesday or Wednesday, just chilling. Like that's epic. And so, it fills life, man. Like, I get excited to watch the Razorbacks on Wednesday night. But, we got another game coming up. It's fun to and I wish I had a true radar for two possession games under like a minute left. And it was just like, all right, turn on. Yeah. Like yeah, Purdue, Rutgers, or just random. I don't care. We just want to see that end of game like chaos. Well, that's why we love the March Madness tournament so much, is because it's so packed in, just games right on top of each other, all kind of coming down to chaos at the same time in true madness. But I think it's nice. It's nice and interspersed throughout the week. And you can always, there's always a good basketball game on. If you're willing to flip around or find it or like pay attention, you can get to a close basketball game somewhere, especially in the age we live in now. You know how much more sports we can consume now than like you could even 20 years ago? Like I could watch any college basketball game that's happening like on a at least mid-major level, like across the US on some platform.
Well, and if
like,
you have ESPN Plus, you can watch quite literally any game.
Yeah, like every game.
Well, and that's what, even just the fact that it is not uncommon. Like you can go get a 50-inch TV for $150, and like if you have a Fire Stick or a Chromecast, you can have 3 or 4 screens going in your house, like no problem. You really can.
Yeah, easy.
And especially with the illegal streams and stuff that people have access to now, you can literally watch any sporting event anywhere in the world that's going on.
That's awesome. We have so much access. I've always thought about that with music. Like I think our generation is one of the first ones. Since the age of 12 or 13 or whenever I got an iPhone, I've had the entire catalog, the entire library of music ever made in my hand. Like used to, you have to like buy a record or have a record player, or have something even just to listen to one album. And like we've just grown up, and I could listen to any music that's ever been made for all time just at the touch of a button. It's amazing.
I think
it's
that's like crazy. I think that's why you see in multiple genres so much influence from other genres now, because it used to be back in the 70s, oh, you're like a rock guy or you're a disco guy or something, but now it's like we have this access to classic rock or country or rap, or like 90s rap versus rap today in the 2020s. Like you hear that especially seeing, like I've seen it a lot in the country genre, which is funny, like some of these younger guys getting rappers to come on their songs and everything, like, and it used to be like that would never happen.
Little Dirk.
Yeah, dude. Like I go to the Morgan Wallen Hardy concert here in Nashville, and he starts singing Broadway Girls, and Lil Durk comes out on stage, and everyone's going nuts because everyone at that concert, like they're not just country fans, they love rap too. So it's cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, and it's like empowering to literally have it all to stream for free. I mean, not free. I guess you pay a little bit for Spotify, but I mean, if you really use that, or Apple Music,
it's so worth it.
It's like insane. I've been able, like, just library, and I love music. And this is really kind of nice little tangent here at the end, but like I just love music, and to have it's infinite. Like I could listen to new music that's been created throughout time forever, and it's all stored right there for free on my phone. I can do, like, I don't have to pay to buy the song or pay to play the song on a freaking jukebox or something. Like it's just right at my fingers.
Just give me the aux, baby.
Yeah.
Don't even give me the aux. What's the Bluetooth? We're past the aux. Like, come on. But no, and one last quote. We're going on a tangent here, but so we talk about having access to all these games. It was not that long ago. Like when I was a kid, there were times I listened to Husker games on some radio cast online, or it was pay-per-view. We used to pay $30 or something for a game. Oh no, I feel like it was more than that. I thought it was like $50 or $100 sometimes. It was one of those things where you wanted to have a watch party and everyone came and chipped in because you got the pay-per-view.
Yeah. It was a big deal. Like, oh, who's getting the pay-per-view this week? Or, because especially like that was kind of the start of when most games were televised to some extent, like, Arkansas versus Western Michigan or so, that game would be on pay-per-view. But even some like SEC games, I guess, would be. That was crazy to have pay-per-view. Was a wild time of college, college sports, really.
Well, and even like the first one was ESPN 360, remember? And I remember huddling around like my parents' computer in their room to watch Nebraska versus Missouri. Like for some reason it wasn't on ABC or something, so you had to go on ESPN 360 to get it. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever that we could go back and huddle around the desk where the computer was and watch the game.
That is awesome.
Like that was not long ago. I mean, I was
No.
probably 8 or 9, maybe like 8 to 10, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So that was 15 to 17 years ago.
Yeah, that is wild. It's just wild how, media really could truly control the narrative used to, like, especially in college football. It's like, yeah, you think the best teams in the country are these two teams because they're the only two teams we've shown play all year. Like we show 4 Michigan games, like 3 Alabama games, and like Ohio State
and all the Notre Dame games.
Yeah, and all So it's like these are the only teams you even see. So they show Texas and like Oklahoma and USC, like of course. I mean, anyway, it all kind of goes together.
Markets.
But now we get to watch everything. We can
know.
just be a lot more like unbiased about actually what's going on.
It's beautiful.
It's awesome.
All right, guys.
So
well,
much access.
I think that about wraps us up. So thanks again for listening. This has been Pay Dirt Sports, part of the Six Pack Coverage Network. Check them out, sixpackcoverage.com, on Instagram and Twitter at Six Pack Coverage. Check us out on Twitter at paydirt_sports and on Instagram at Pay Dirt Sports. Guys, thanks again for listening, and we will see y'all next week.
Pay Dirt out.